Hello and welcome back to the program. My name is Michael Finney. Today, I am joined by photographer Gabriel Karkovsky. Would you like to say hello, sir?
Hello.
How's it going today? Anything interesting? Beautiful weather the last couple of days. It was a little bit warm earlier in the week, but over the last few days, it's kind of cooled off. And then the evenings are, in the great sleeping temperatures. So beautiful weather in general, sunny skies, no complaints in that side of things. Tell us where you're from, what you do, anything about your basic background that we should know about.
Yeah, so my name is Gabriel. I am currently living in Prague, sometimes in Berlin, sometimes I go to Vienna, it depends. That's the advantage of Prague, to be in the middle of what's happening in Europe. And I'm a photographer. I am originally a street photographer, sometimes also a portrait photographer and PCS photographer, and content designer. And I'm very happy to be here. That's the beginning.
Good place to start. How did you get into photography? What led you to it?
Basically, my childhood, I have to say, because I'm a child of Slavic parents that was traveling a lot, living in different places. And photography was a way how to not forget these places and how to keep memories, how to capture the memories that otherwise would just vanish and go away. And also because my mother was interested in photography and painting, and she offered me, with my father, they offered me I think my first camera when I was about 12, 11, something like this. Some point and shoot compact camera when I went for exchange in Scotland, and they offered me my first camera. So I basically got into photography as a teenager. And later, let's say my interest in photography was not as much important as my interest in film for a couple of years. But I came back to photography when I was about 22, 23. I took some classes, did some small diploma in photography, and I started again.
Yeah, very cool. So I have done some photography over the years as well for print publications, video stuff, my own publications and books. Bands, things like that. Do you consider yourself to be more about capturing the moment in terms of the energy and the post-production of that sliver of time? Or do you consider yourself to be more of a technician and really, focused on the equipment and the mathematics, or somewhere in between?
That's a very good question, and very deep question for the beginning. Honestly, I don't really think I'm a technical guy. I have some technical knowledge, as everyone who is involved in photography. I try to have as much knowledge as I can have to be good in photography, but honestly, I don't care that much about equipment or about the technicalities. Let's say I really care more about the moment, about capturing the moment, capturing what I want to see on my photography, what I want people to see. So maybe more like the first kind you described, the first type.
Yeah, reasonable. I'm probably in that camp as well. I am underinformed about the mathematics and the technicals in general, I would say.
It probably depends on on the type of the shoot, because when I want to do very good portrait, or when I do some BTS, unit still photography, I am also this kind of person. I'm very, technical. I'm thinking about it a lot, about ISO, about all the technical stuff we can influence as photographers on our cameras. But with street photography, you usually don't really have time to think of it deeply, or to really calculate somehow. No, you have a couple of seconds to capture some moment, or some light, or some person, or anything you find interesting. So no, when it comes to street photography, I count on my intuition more and more than on my equipment.
Yeah, that's reasonable. Let's talk about what you have done, your work, anything that kind of got you established, gave you a name, let people know you were out there, what you were doing.
This is probably a question for people who follow me on social media, or people who know me, or who purchased some of my work. But as I said, for quite a long time, I was into street photography, even before I knew what street photography was. Even if I was very much interested in photography when at school, I had photography, art history as my major at high school. In high school, I did not really know there was something like street photography. So I think this is what I'm the best known for, without willing to sound pretentious. But amongst my followers, I think street photography is what they know me for. I participated on a couple of exhibitions, couple of press articles, and stuff like this. And other than that, I'm probably known professionally for working on film and television. Now, not that much as in the past, but previously I worked as a picture editor for television news here in Prague, actually, and as a photo editor for films, short films, feature films, videos, etc. So this is what I was working on before.
Yeah, very cool. I definitely see, a solid roster of experience for your film and TV credits on your CV. There's a lot of great stuff there, I feel like. Is that something you want to do more of, or are you headed into different directions? Because I see, you've got some stuff for this year, but then additionally, you've got you've got exhibitions, other publishing work that you've done. Where are you headed? What do you like?
With the film and TV credits, it's kind of ambiguous, because, credits for 2024 is work from 2023 most of the time, because there is a delay, of course, with the production and post-production. And when it's some graphic design job or some photo editing for some kind of shoot, it's done in the beginning of the production, usually when it's some prop or some picture on the set or some set design, etc. So you do it in 2023, and it's released in 2024. So it doesn't necessarily mean that I work on it now. Mm-hmm. But to go back to your original question, if I wanted to do this, if I wanted to be involved in film and television, yes, actually, yes. When I was about, I would say 17, I was really into photography. I was having my camera all the time with me, and I felt like I wanted to be a photographer. But I was also traveling a lot and moving a lot, and I did not really have many friends. I did not really had chance to make some deeper friend connections for longer time period, let's say. So I started to consume films a lot, and films and television, and I it's a joke I said a couple of times. I grew up in Woody Allen's New York, for example, because it was something I was watching all the time, rewatching Annie Hall and Manhattan and Hannah and Her Sisters and these classics, without knowing about all the controversies and all the stuff behind. But at the time, I was really deeply in love with film. So I kind of hoped when I was in college or after graduation, I really hoped that I would find a place in film or TV productions, which did not really work. So nobody really opened the door for somebody who was freshly out of college. So I started teaching, and not because I didn't have other options, but it was the closest thing to do related to film, TV, or art. So I started teaching film and art history and comic studies and everything related to some kind of visual narration or visual storytelling. And progressively later, I developed some portfolio working also for free or for very little money for people I knew or for people I met, somebody I contacted online or who contacted me online. And in 2022, when I was teaching photo editing, graphic design at European summer school, which is like a school for summer courses for students from around the world, I kind of accidentally found a job in television. I went there and they just took me because they liked my photos. So it was a position of a picture editor. It means the person who takes care of the visual aspects of TV news or evening programs on news channel. So it was kind of an accident, I would say. It was not really that I dreamt about this particular job, but I wanted to work in photography or with film and TV, and this was kind of both. So that's how it happened.
It's interesting how things kind of come together that way, isn't it? You just kind of find an opportunity, and then it leads to something else, and you can kind of string together this sequence of experiences, like create a trajectory out of that stuff. It seems like that's what you've done.
Yes, kind of. I don't want to sound like somebody who didn't do anything and got everything. That's not like this. I worked for it. I was taking pictures a lot, and I had a lot of rejections, and I still have when there are projects. It happens very often that people say, no, sorry, we found somebody else, or we don't want this, or something like that. And it's just, even if I tried to take distance from or photography or film and television productions or any kind of creative job, I was always sucked back, into this kind of jobs, because I probably cannot do anything else. So, or it was teaching, or it's some curating, or it's content design, photo editing. I'm always somehow around media and film, television, podcasts, etc. So it goes naturally. I think it's some sort of destiny, even if I'm not a big believer in it. I think I'm very much into this domain or this part of the job market, I would say.
Once you get into media, all of a sudden you kind of start to get experience with and branch into other aspects of media. I feel like it's hard to stay within only one specialization because opportunity comes along.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I saw myself, and I saw myself as a street photographer, but you cannot really, or especially in the context of West Central Europe, let's say Berlin, Prague, Vienna, there are not really opportunities to be a full-time street photographer. I mean, at least not for me. Maybe I'm not, that much. I don't want to say skilled, but I'm maybe not that much trying to be only street photographer. So to work for media of any kind or for advertisement is kind of natural. If I want to be still around photography and creative jobs, I don't really have much choice. And again, I don't say it like something sad. I'm happy to work for what I work for, or the companies I work with, or the projects I worked on. It's just I cannot really imagine where else I could fit. After how many 6-7 years now in this industry, maybe more. I don't remember.
So, what do you have coming up that you're working on that people should know about?
First of all, for those who, I don't know how many of your listeners would go there, but for those who would go to Serbia, there is an exhibition, at the same time a photo contest by Shortcut Film Festival. Again, I found them kind of accidentally a couple of years ago, and I participated 2 or 3 times already, if I remember. So a couple of my pictures from Vienna and Dresden, maybe even Berlin and Prague, I don't remember, are being exhibited there. At the same time, there is a competition by Street Photography France, which is a French, let's say, collective slash magazine about street photography. So one of my pictures was actually chosen for this competition about on color street photography on streets in color. And I'm also currently curating a small watercolor exhibition of my fiancée, which will probably take place in Vienna in October. So that kind of occupies me, and I'm still working on as a content designer for one media AI project, but I cannot really talk about it much because it's still in development.
Oh, see, that's a shame. I'm into AI and stuff as well, and we could have gone down that rabbit hole a little bit.
I mean, we can. I will just, be very ambiguous with some names and dates and, the very detailed information. But we can talk about it. Of course, it's just I cannot name really the people or the companies because it's a bit confidential.
Yeah, no, that's okay. What have you found to be useful within the recent emergence of AI to the work that you're doing?
I really like this question because I was still teaching when AI, like OpenAI, ChatGPT, I hope I can name them, when it appeared. And I would say 98% of my colleagues, of my teaching buddies, they wanted to ban ChatGPT for the students, but keep it for themselves. To work with ChatGPT when they prepare the courses. And I was so much against because or we will ban it for everybody or everybody will use it. Because even if I'm mainly a film photographer, I still think we should not be afraid of technology we don't even know about or we don't know deeply. And for me, for example, as somebody who is very visual and who does not really enjoy writing that much, even if I wrote a couple of things in the past, and I still write occasionally music columns for Culture Sonar. I very much like ChatGPT or AI because it can polish, it can make my texts better, grammatically correct, especially in English, for example, because I'm French and Czech speaker primarily. So I think it can help me with correspondence, with writing emails, writing descriptions for my pictures, writing proposals. This is really great because I would spend 5-6 times more doing it, and I would probably need a proofreader. And like this, I can, not always, of course, but most of the time I can trust AI that it would help me. It will help me write my text better or get rid of grammatical mistakes, for example. So this is very helpful. I'm very sorry for all my colleagues, clients, friends who think that I'm actually writing the emails. I'm usually writing just a draft and let AI help me. To this, I mean, when it comes to photography or the visuals in general, I don't want to be skeptical, I don't know what will happen, very honestly. I don't want to predict because, I just don't think it's my place. It does not concern me that much because nobody is trying to fake street photography so far. I hope I will not initiate anyone. I will not make some revolution accidentally. When it comes to media, yes, it can be kind of tricky because you probably remember these famous pictures of Donald Trump being arrested. And at that time, the fake pictures, I should precise. And at the time, I still was a picture editor for the TV news, for the evening programs. And even if then it looked very, very fake still, unlike today, for example, when the AI-generated photography looks much better, it kind of scared me and my colleagues, photo editors, picture editors, because at one point it would be kind of easy. It will be kind of easy or easier to fake proofs and fake photojournalism in general. So that can be kind of scary. But on the other hand, like Photoshop exists for, now I wanted to estimate some kind of 30 years. Maybe it's maybe too much. But Photoshop exists for a long time. And people were scared, as we are now, probably, that people will fake proofs and fake photos and everything will be just Photoshop. And it's not really like this. Sometimes yes, but not all the time. So let's not be skeptical. Let's wait. Let's analyze it. Let's take distance. Let's try and see. Because I kind of remember I was still employed in TV and working in TV, and it was somewhere around the writers' strike in Los Angeles when, if I remember it correctly, maybe you can correct me if you remember, some of the writers were threatened by AI and afraid that it would take their job. But I remember that Belgian government created some group of screenwriters who started testing ChatGPT and AI, what it can do, what it cannot do, unlike French writers who, if I understood well, who immediately rejected ChatGPT as a platform. And I think the second example is not really a good practice. Because let's try first and see what we can do with it, how it can be helpful for us. And let's not use it at the moments where it's, trying to scam somebody or trying to, when somebody tries to fake some proofs, photography proofs. And let's be vigilant. I forgot the vigilant. Is it correct, the English word?
Vigilant?
Yeah, let's be, I know it only in French now, let's be smart enough to test it first before we condemn the platform or AI in general. Like nothing is black and white except some of my pictures. I'm very proud of this joke, sorry.
That's fine. We'll take a joke, Are there any things we haven't addressed yet that you feel are important for people to know about?
Well, I'm thinking about it. It's hard to say. Maybe that I have a cat. We have a cat with my fiance. That's very important. But it's important for me, not for people, probably. I also write sometimes, but that is not that much interesting because my relationship with writing is not that harmonious as my relationship with with photography. But I still enjoy it sometimes, to write, especially about music or writing some short poems for my partner or about things I see and I cannot capture. And I wrote or co-wrote more likely 2 short films. But it's something that I do only when I want, which is great because this is how I want to have my, I don't want to say writing career, but my writing path. I just want to do it when I have time because it's something that I want to enjoy and I cannot force it.
Reasonable. Well, hey, thank you for joining us today, talking about your work and your career and giving us your thoughts.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to hear you